Okay. Hello, everyone. So we're recording this. This is Tending the Creative Soul, and this is March 8th. And we're working with Calligrams today. And so let's kind of start how we usually do. I kind of like to go around and you can just say your name and where you're at and why you're here. So I can start. I'm Trey Everett. I work with the Northwest Minnesota Arts Council. One of my favorite art forms is Calligrams. And so that's why I chose this subject, and that's why I'm here. So whoever wants to go next can go next.
Okay, I'll go. I'm Gail Ossie, and I'm in Thief River Falls, Minnesota. And I'm here today to learn about Calligrams. I've never done them before, so I'm curious.
And I'm Sharon Kavanaugh from South Windsor, Connecticut. And I've actually never even heard the term before. So that intrigued me. And I liked the image that you put up with the words and the birds. And I trusted Gail, so I'm here.
Great. Okay, awesome. Yeah. So a calligram is a word, an image made up with words. And that's a very general, basic description. And it can be very simple and amazingly complex. Other sorts of calligrams are called concrete poems, or what's the other word? Shape poems. Those are also calligrams, if you've heard of concrete poems or shape poems. But basically, it's this image, and a lot of times it's just a silhouette of an image. So I just traced these out before our time together, and so any of these could be a calligram, and basically it's this outline and then it's filled in with words. And these are all, of course, animal shapes or insect shapes, but they can be anything: hearts, your initials, self-portraits, anything. And these are just simple shapes that are really fun, especially with kids or people starting out. These are really fun to do. And then you can just fill in with whatever you want. Like for the giraffe, it could be anything you want to say about a giraffe, or a poem could be filled in, or the lyrics of a song, anything like that. And so what I'd like to do is I'm going to share my screen and show you a few calligrams that I've done. And then I'll show you a video of a person making a calligram, a real simple one. Okay, where's my screen share? Here we go. Okay, so we'll go here. So these are, whoops, sure what happened there. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a few calligrams I've made. So this is Minnesota Western Regional Science Fair 2020. And so, this is the state of Minnesota. And then this is, I've just filled in the title of this fair to make it fit right in there. So just a very simple one. Here's a more complex. This is a piece, the peace sign with your hand, but it's made with just words. So there are no lines. It's just words written over and over. It's actually a passage from the New Testament about peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. So it's just that phrase and the word peace written over and over and over again. And so, you kind of zoom in, you can start to see it. In these dark places where the shadow is, I just wrote over the words, just peace, hundreds of times to make it as dark as I wanted. This is actually an ink blot that spilled on the thumb. I just left it there. But that's one example of a calligram. Let's see. This is another one. This is a welcome sign I made for a family, and I just put in different things about the family within the word welcome. Here's Crookston Oxcart Days. This is a few years ago, so this is also a calligram. And then there's a little poem or phrase down here. My aunt and uncle's 50th wedding anniversary, so I put all the family names in here and different things my aunt and uncle like to do. And then I'll show you just two more of more complex calligrams, if I can get to it. And so here is Batman. I'll just go here. And so this is a calligram with Batman. And so here it says, I'm Batman. I have one power. I never give up. And then there's more phrases in here. The lighter shading, it looks like shading, are just the phrase. It's the same phrase written over and over again. I think it's I am Batman. I just wrote real tiny letters. And then it kind of gives it a kind of a distinct look with the big thicker letters and then the little letters. And then here's one more. Here's Yoda. And these are all phrases that Yoda said. Do or do not. There is no try right here. And then all these different phrases. And then the small, the facial features and the one hand, this all is the phrase, may the force be with you. Just over and over, real little light writing. So those are some examples of some calligrams I've done. And then let me just show you a video here. I can find it. Okay, here we go. And we'll just watch this.
This video, I'm going to show you how to create a calligram self-portrait. So the first step is to outline a reference image, all the contour lines. So what are all the important outlines of your image? So I'm just drawing directly on a printed photo, and I'm outlining all of the main features and contour lines of my photograph. Next, I will take my paper and I'm going to lightly trace over all of those lines using a light box, all of the major contour lines lightly with my pencil. So these will be erased later, so you definitely want to make sure that you're not creating really dark lines. So I'm going to add any finishing touches of lines that I need to add or adjust my photo. So next I will start writing in different adjectives and filling the different shapes that I see. So I filled in that whole hair area, then I'm going through and filling in the rims of the glasses, as well as the lenses of the glasses with different adjectives that describe my personality or that describe my interests and values. So I've chosen in advance the different words that I'm going to add, and I'm going to either fill spaces or, like I did with the hands, I'm just writing the words very small to kind of create implied contour lines here. So, and then the sleeve, I decided I'm going to add different words and fill the sleeve with the design rather than doing the outlines only of that sleeve. So I'm just going in, adding more adjectives until that entire sleeve section is filled in, and you can make your words different sizes. You can go over them and make them more bold. You can use uppercase font, lowercase font, do the design as you like. So again, I'm just creating an implied contour line around the main shapes using very small font. I'm just writing all of these outlines that show the different shapes of my shirt and my shoulders. And then I'm going back over the words that I had written initially in pencil, and I'm going over those in Sharpie. So you'll notice I started writing my words in pencil, and then I decided to just go for it after I felt comfortable and go ahead and just start writing it directly in Sharpie. So you can make that choice if whether you want to write your words in pencil first and then go over them, or just start doing it in Sharpie if you're very confident. Last, I go through and erase all my pencil lines, and that's it. My drawing is finished.
Okay, so this is one example, and I want to acknowledge this person real quick. I'll find her in just a second. This is an example of a calligram where a lot of the words are the outline of the image. And so you can do the outline, you can fill the inside of the image with words, you can do both. So she's kind of done both here. So I just wanted to mention that. And so this is Stephanie Collins from YouTube. And then this last one, real quick, I'll just show a little bit of
drawing
this.
out the shape that I'm going to write my words in, I'm using a template that I created for underneath as a guideline. For this feather, I'm using the lyrics from the song Let There Be Peace on Earth, and I'm drawing in with pencil where I think I would like my word placement.
So you kind of get the idea here. I'm just going to skip ahead.
I have basic place.
And, you know, I use something like she's doing. I've got this like little, I forget what these are called. They used to be called light boxes, but, and then I'll use this and then put my outline on top of that, turn on the light box, and then put my paper over that just to kind of get a reference or an outline of what I'm working on to stay within the lines. And
So
then
those little things have lights under them?
Yes, they do. So my plugin is downstairs, but it has 3 different settings, and this whole thing lights up this really brilliant white that makes it great if you're doing things like this.
Where
So
did you get that?
I just got it on Amazon. You know,
Okay.
they have all different kinds. And this is kind of a cheaper one, like, I don't know, $20 or $30. And it's lasted
Really?
for 5 years or so. So you can get bigger ones. But they're great. They're really nice. And so here's her work. I'll just kind of move on. And then she, whoops. And then she fills in the pencil with ink to kind of give it that look. And then sometimes I leave the outline in like that. This is the feather. Sometimes I would leave it in. Sometimes I don't have any outline. It just kind of depends on what I'm feeling like that day or what I think looks good. Okay. I'm going to stop share. So those are some kind of ideas of how you work with calligrams. And then for me, the fun part is the lettering. You know, you can make it really simple. You can make it fancy lettering. You know, you can use just one word to put in there. Like if you wanted to put in, you know, like hen or rooster or chicken, you could just figure out creatively how to write one word right in here, which is really cool how you can make that fit exactly in there, and then it becomes the outline of the animal. So you can do this all different ways. So it's kind of endless. And this is kind of what makes it fun as a project for people. I often use this calligram project as a project for a lot of my art classes to get people thinking and to be creative. And It can be very inspiring because you can make gifts for people. You can put in, a quote that really inspires you and create some image with that. But that's kind of the idea. So I thought we would go ahead and create our own right now. Before we do that, any comments, thoughts? Do you remember seeing many Calligrams now that you've looked at some of these images?
Yeah, now that you put a name to it, they look familiar.
Yeah. You kind of begin to see them everywhere. They're in a lot of advertising, and you'll see them in magazines, and you just kind of begin to realize, wow, they're all over.
I like the variety. I like both of them. The one that have the thicker outlines that you can recognize, like Minnesota, and I like the ones that the hand was amazing.
Right.
That's kind of neat either way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought what we could do just for a little bit right now is I thought it'd be great to make a Calligram about us. So we'd all make one for ourselves. And so what I'd like for you to try is to pick some kind of outline of an image that might represent you or something that you're interested in or like. It could be an animal image. It could be the outline of your first initial or your initials. It could be your name, an outline of your name, and then you'll fill that in. It could be a heart. It could be anything. So the first thing is to come up with some kind of image, some outline, and you would kind of lightly trace that in, maybe with pencil, in case you want to erase that later. And then after you've got the outline, our work then is to fill it in with anything we want to say about ourselves. And it may be one word, maybe you've got a word of the year and you just want to use that one word in there. Maybe it's anything about you, where you were born, where you live, what you like to do, your family members' names, your pets, whatever. And let's just try it. And then for just a little bit, and then we'll see what that's like.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Yep.
Okay, I'm just going to put mine on mute, and then I'm going to leave my video on, and we'll just create for about 10 or 15 minutes. So take your time, grab something to eat or to snack on if you want, and then I'll bring us back together in a little bit, and then we'll talk about it.
So are we going to fill in with words too then, or just the outline?
Yeah, so fill in with words. So make the outline first, and then fill it in with anything you want to say about yourself. One
Okay.
word, 100 words, whatever you want. Okay. So remember, you can't do it wrong. Just relax and have fun, and then we'll come back together in a little bit. All right, let's take about 5 more minutes. And if you're not done, that's totally fine. You can just keep working on it later on, but about 5 minutes, I'll bring us back together and we'll just talk about it. Okay. If you're not done, that's fine. Let's just talk a little bit about this. If you want to show your work, you can. You don't have to. But let's just start out. What was this like? What was this like? What did you like about it? What did you find challenging? Just anything you'd like to share.
Well, I'd like to share that I have no devices and I could not print anything out from my phone or my computer that I just had cleaned and fixed. So I'm like, okay, clearly I'm not going to have any help with an outline here. So I had to bunt. I'm like, okay, great. So, and I didn't really feel comfortable doing one about me, like me. I'm like, I don't really want to do that. Although that's a path I should probably go down. Right, Sharon? I should go down that path.
You don't have to.
But the path I did go down was with my dogs. I found a really cool picture online, and I did outline it in pencil. And then I started filling in the small space where the eyes were like with their name, and I'll do that. But I really liked that it got me to, you think that you know something until you really start thinking about it. And when you have to describe it in words, and I'm like, wow, it really did put me in a different space with these creatures that share my life every day that I never otherwise would have thought of. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And I did get a call from my husband while I was doing this, and I said, how would you describe them? So it was cool to get his input too into it also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't describe myself either. I found a quote and did something from a quote. So, and I drew like a little paintbrush.
Oh,
and a
yeah.
heart.
Yeah. Awesome.
And so I was struggling to figure out how to do the outline, whether I wanted to do it with the words or I wanted to write something. So then I started writing little things on the sides, like repeated some of the words from here, just in different places to give myself the outline I wanted. So
Yeah.
it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a challenge about the outline, because I find sometimes if I don't have an outline, just a marker outline or dark outline, it's not defined enough. And because I want people to be able to see the shape instantly.
Yeah.
What
See,
is that?
I don't think you could tell what that is. I couldn't tell what it is.
Right. I mean, I know what it is because you told us, but yeah,
Yeah.
would I know before, if you hadn't have said that, right? That's the challenge.
And I even picked a big fat paintbrush because I figured if I went with like that, it wouldn't work at all.
Right.
But yeah.
Right.
It makes me want to try it again.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the fun thing. You can try all these different styles. And I love, like I said earlier, I love the idea of doing different lettering. So I love to look at these lettering books and think, well, how do I want to put words in there this time? What kind of lettering style? So I just did an eyeball, and then I just wrote my name over and over. So Trey right here in the middle. And then I just wrote Trey all around, real tiny, some dark, to try to make shading. And what I like to do is just kind of hold it back and think, okay, can I tell that's an eye? And then maybe later I'll go back. Well, I guess I'll do it now, but you can go back and decide, okay, I just really need to define it more, put a few more lines in. And, there's no right or wrong. So you can do that. But the great thing about this is it can be this really very inspiring thing. Like you were saying, Gail, it's like, okay, I get to think about my pets. What do they mean to me, or myself, or this person, or my children, or whoever? And what kind of describes them? What can I say about them? And it can be very powerful.
Yeah. I work with kids at an art school, and we often tell them they can't write words, that they have to draw it instead. So this would be a really fun way to let them go crazy and write all the words they want.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool, Sharon.
Yeah, because they always wanted, like, it's almost the easy way out. Like if you write what they're doing, you stick a speech bubble over something. It's like, no, you have to draw it. But this would be fun.
Yeah, and it gets people thinking on both sides of their brain using Calligrams. So, you're using your left side and this line work and creativity, and then you're using your right side with all the words and what can I say about this or that or myself, and how can I put it in there and make it all fit. So that's the other kind of challenge, because sometimes it's like you've got a weird little shape and you want to fit one word in, and so it can be tricky to figure out how can I do my lettering just right to make it fill this space.
It was a good hour.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what did you say, Sharon?
It was a good hour.
Yeah,
This was
good.
fun.
Good. And before we close, I did want to mention that second video. I didn't mention who that lady was. Her name on the her YouTube account is Creative Lee. Creative and then LEI, but it's one word, Creative Lee. So I just wanted to acknowledge what we were watching and who the artists were. So thank you both for being here in our first recorded Tending the Creative Soul. Next, just so you both know, and we'll start advertising very soon. Next month, a local artist and avid birder, Ross Heyer, who, Gail, he went on a birding trip to Costa Rica for 2 weeks. And so he's going to be here and talk about birds and art, why he finds birds so fascinating, and just some of his techniques when he creates artwork with the different variety of birds that he's seen and identified. So
Is he going to share pictures from his birds in Costa Rica?
well, I hope so. Because some of the birds are just incredible. I mean, he sent me a few names, and so I Googled them, and it's like, wow, those are amazing. So that will be next month. So, okay, well, great. Well, Sharon, nice to meet you. Gail, it's always good to see you here. And I hope you both have a good rest of your week and a good weekend.
Thank you. Thanks for doing this.
Okay.
Thanks, Sharon. It was fun to hang and see you, Trey.
Okay, see you later.